5 state witnesses take the stand today in the trial of Matthew Plote, who is accused of murdering a Mount Morris woman in November of 2020.
Ogle County Detective Chad Gallick testifies that upon interviewing Plote, he discovered the defendant was at the home of Melissa Lamesh not long before she was killed. Two forensic pathologists believe Lamesh was killed before her house was set on fire due to no smoke residue in her lungs. Arson investigator Mike Pohl shares his investigation concludes the fire was intentionally set.
I also noticed that her face, her head, and her neck were very congested, meaning it had a very red color. And there was a very well defined demarcation of the redness or congestion from the neck and head up, and nothing below that.